getting like the export certificate and all the administrations they have to do in Belgium when they bring over our chocolates. They're a permanent fixture, but absolutely nothing to do with the pandemic. So it's and they keep talking about things easy with time. Well, we're not actually implementing all the checks that are going to be done on sort of fresh fruits and flowers and all these other products yet. So I can see it only getting worse, not better.
I mean, I can see that from what you said, that it's affecting your business a lot more than ours. Ours is more the delay side of things. So I can understand where you're coming from.
What about you, Robin? How's it affecting your flower business?
Really, we have 3 garden centres in Northern Ireland, and we started the year saying, okay, you're not allowed to bring in soil from England to Northern Ireland, which was totally crazy. Then they changed the rules and said you can bring in soil. Then at the moment we're not allowed to bring in seed potatoes. As far as like bulbs, they all have to have a certificate before they can come from GB to Northern Ireland, and it's costing money. It's £160 for a certificate being issued from the government to allow you to bring a box of bulbs over, or a box of seeds from England over. Like we are part of the UK, and as I say, we didn't realise the implications of what Brexit was going to be for us. And as Jackie says, with the paperwork, we have something like 100 TSS forms still to fill in, and it wasn't an easy tick box form to fill in. It took one of our girls a day to fill in one, so we've actually had to employ an expert to help us get all these TSS forms underway. So it's been a challenging year, and even as Jackie says, people are not interested in sending anything over to Northern Ireland now. We've actually, since the Brexit started, we've actually opened up another place in Cheshire. Really, it's a shop unit with garden and fresh barbecues, because our feeling is, an Englishman or a Scotsman or a Welsh, would they risk buying anything from Northern Ireland online at the moment, just in all the protocols? So we feel as if we need an address in England. As well as that, we were at the trade show there 2 weeks ago in Birmingham, and we were around the stands and says, can we order this, that, and the other? Once you mention Northern Ireland, it's like a black word. Nobody's interested. But because of Cheshire, we actually can then get the goods to Cheshire, and then we'll organise the paperwork, get it across. So it's been a challenging year with it all.
And I think it's affecting smaller businesses more because, we've been trying to find couriers that will take stock over to Northern Ireland. And, they keep telling different stories about what's feasible and what they can do.
Yeah.
But they all say that the people at the other end have to have an video online number. They have to do this paperwork. And of course, for small businesses, they don't want to do that. So people like start investors and that can cope with it, but the small people will be affected the most.
No, we're really lucky. We have our own office staff. They work the computers and whatever. But an ordinary sort of family business, maybe 1 or 2 people, they don't have the computers, they don't have the infrastructure to do all those. We actually brought over ourselves. What happened at the very start of the year? All the hauliers that usually bring some plants coming over here, when they said, "Oh, you can't do this, that, and the other," they actually went and got a job elsewhere. So we ended up organising our own transport to bring in line of roses from England. It cost £2,000 for one lorry, because you're only allowed one drop, one lift, drop for the certificate. And then these plants say come on roller trolley, so it cost £500 to charge it back to you again. We went to the suppliers again for this year and says, look, there's too much hassle, not interested. So now we have to try and source roses plants from Europe, from South of Ireland, wherever. And it's been a real headache the whole way through.
It'd be interesting to hear from people in the car business as well, because some firms are saying that the cost of complying with EU regulations are blunting the industry's competitive advantage. And these are big companies, and you're talking about small businesses as well. Did you vote for it? How did you vote?
Really, I thought for the Brexit, but we didn't realise until we were rainwashed what the rules and regulations were going to be. We all especially Northern Ireland, most of borders of Europe in the in the middle, so you could supply anywhere without any problems. But we didn't realise the problems that we were going to have.
So run the by us again. You were happy with it. Did you vote for Brexit?
I did, yes, I did. I honestly thought, with all the rules and regulations that there was with Europe, and all even down to sort of products, chemicals, all the as far as it goes, if we were listening to the government, the government would tell us like they think they're going to be, I think it's fantastic, this, that, and really, there's too many stories being told for and against, and unfortunately, none of the two parties were sort of telling the truth.
Interesting, really interesting. Kieran's there in Sunderland. Hi, Kieran.
Good morning.
Hi, and Andy's in Worthing. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Nicky.
Hi, coming in a minute, Andy. Kieran, listening to that start message there from Robin, what would you say to him?
Well, it's interesting. As I tell you, colleagues, I worked as a lawyer, and I dealt with the European Union legal system within a member state, and this idea that it's somehow sort of benign is ridiculous. Then if you have a problem with it solved, you just download an EU regulation. It's an over-governed, over-bureaucratic institution. And the other point I was going to make is, you quite talk about, over-rule. Exactly. That's the reason why the European Union's competitiveness it has international world trade shrunk by 36% in the last 10 years. That's the problem. So you pull out German cars, the government collapsed because they're down 14 billion euros worth of spending to this country. And the other one of things is, who is it who runs the Europe? Honestly, I never voted, even when I was in Ireland, any of the Commission. Who voted for Ursula von der Leyen? To whom is she accountable? Who for the European Union Commission? It's an important point, because if obviously we have a Boris Johnson or something, the areas of agreement,
People in Scotland.
recently,
In Scotland.
yeah, you're
Boris Johnson.
finish my point. Can I just finish my point? A lot of people criticize this debate. Sometimes for free. You can vote him out. Cannot vote out Ursula von der Leyen. The European Parliament is a rubber stamp exercise. There's no accountability, and the need to over-bureaucratize. Protection Act, frankly, and the law we enforce.
That's quite strong. And then we prioritise protection racket. Some people will point. I'm trying to stay. I'm just trying to get people to talk. Jackie, we've had Andy in Worthing. An over-bureaucratised protection racket. Let's not have those arguments. Let's look to where we are now. How is it for you, Andy?
It's what I was expecting in first place anyway. I mean, as much sympathy as I have for the person before the last person, your friend in Northern Ireland who said they were brainwashed. It does go to show that the already proven liars in Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson is a serial liar. Their lies that they told you at the vote out campaign and now comes to be showing lies because he promised from the £250 million a week on the bus to it was going to give us greater prosperity and being proven to be completely wrong. And I do agree with your previous contributor who said that Europe is over-bureaucratised, but it's a much better option that we have now. And the other thing that we have a restaurant which has been adversely affected not only by COVID but also once we come out the other side, supply chain is an absolute disaster. The bureaucracy that now happens in the courts of this country is beyond a joke. And all this is going to only get worse. But the other point I wanted to make, apart from the lies that were told by the buffoon that calls himself our Prime Minister, is also the fact that my children, who are now 18 and 20, are going to miss out on the opportunity that I had as an 18 and 20-year-old to travel around the world, to experience new experiences, to work in a foreign country, to build close relationships with other countries, to make sure that this world does work together through the ecological crisis that we have. All it's done now is cause division between these nations and also curtailed the freedom that my children and my grandchildren are going to have in the future. And the people who say, I voted for Brexit and I feel like I was brainwashed, who are now complaining, there's part of me that has very little sympathy, because those against Brexit like myself are telling them the whole time.
I don't understand why not. I mean, you've got a passport. You can still travel.
Can I come in?
You still work abroad.
Okay, back in a minute, Andy. Who wants to come in? Who is it?
Rubbish.
Kieran here. You didn't interrupt our colleague there for 1 moment. He's pro-EU, but you interrupted me because of Brexit.
just while we've all calmed down.
Well, I'm perfectly calm. I just want to make a point.
I'll let you make a point in a minute, and I'll let you make a point, and I will not interrupt you, but I just wanted to pick you up when I did so before on that issue about democracy, and I just wanted to make the point there are many people in these islands who feel that they're powerless in the face of, for example, a conservative government. So, and some people say that we should have a different political system when it comes to voting and voting out. I just wanted to do that as a point of parenthesis. But anyway, Kieran, I'm going to unleash you. And I will not interrupt you, and then I'll come to Andy, and I'm going to do that in 1 second, and I promise you, Kieran. But first of all, I want to just throw it back to Robin, because Andy says he's quite struck and shocked, maybe even by the fact that Robin voted for Brexit, and now it's slapping him on the face. Robin, when you hear Andy saying that he's got no sympathy for you, do you have sympathy for the fact that he has no sympathy for you, Robin?
Well, I say everybody's got their own ideas, but look, we're sitting in Northern Ireland. We were told we were going to have the best of both worlds, and that's what was supposed to happen. But again, we've been throwing extra, problems compared to what people have in England. And I don't understand why we cannot get stock from GB the way we used to do so, and it's all down to really this, the border. And they just made it so difficult for Northern Ireland businesses the way things are going. And I can't see any light at the end of the tunnel, especially they keep talking about this grace period and what is going to happen. So we're eager to listen to see what they're going to do today with all the new rules and regulations.
Interesting. Dom Cummings said, Kieran, Dom Cummings said, anyone who says they're sure 5 years after the result that Brexit is a good thing must have a screw loose. That was from Dominic Cummings. I give you Kieran from Sunderland. Go!
All I was just going to say, your colleague was making inferences about, being lied to or being brainwashed and stuff like that. Well, equally, a lot of stuff that came out of Project Fear has proven to be completely unfounded as well. And I think we need sort of, and you were quite right to pick me up, Nick, on one point, protection racket. That was possibly slightly overstating the point, but it does suggest to me that it is very much a bloc that isn't really interested in free trade. And even within that's the point I was trying to make earlier on, when I worked in Ireland and worked on issues such as, for example, a very interesting area is the import and export of plasterboard and plasterboard products, which I'm sure is very fascinating for everybody. That still was intra-EU trade, and that still created a lot of bureaucratic obstacles. So this idea is an open free trading organisation. And your previous colleague told me, I want my children to be able to travel. You still need to get permission to travel within the European Union as well, particularly if you want to get a job. And when I was over there...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now they can't. Before you didn't have to have permission to travel.
But you could
There was no visa.
You had to get a work permit.
Yes, but it was a hell of a lot easier than it's going to be now. And why would somebody... And also, I find it highly insulting that you use the terminology that something that is against what you voted for was Project Fear. Why is it what's Project Fear? It was telling the truth of what's come to fruition now.
Well, that's your opinion.
That's not my opinion. It's been proven to be the case now.
Well, no,
we on the side of saying within the Project Fear, to use the word fear, to use the word fear is anti-democratic, because you're saying that somebody else's view is purely on a case of scaring people. It's undemocratic. But you're not. You're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. How can you believe in truth when your profession is professionally lying?
You can say what you like about the profession, that's fine. But to say that, the truth, you said that you have...
Can I just stick up for lawyers here? I know I'm interrupting you, but can I just stick up for lawyers? Lawyers aren't lawyers. Carry on.
Sorry, that's not very good.
Well, he said it was he referred to the European Union as something approaching a crime family. So I think it's 1-1.
No, that's fair. No, absolutely fair. What annoys me is that
I know you to give up. You withdrew the comment.
Opinions are like arseholes.
As a good lawyer in court, you withdrew.
Everyone's got one.
But to use the expression Project Fear in and of itself shows up the pro-Brexit lobby to be what they are, which is exactly what the caller from Northern Ireland said. They were brainwashed by lies, by
Tosh. It's a beautiful sunrise off to the left. Let's get past this car here. 70 miles an hour. Make it left, pull back into the lane. Peterlee on the left. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look out your left hand side window, you will see Peterlee.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. If you look out the left-hand side window, you will see Peterlee.
Hartlepool, 8 miles. Bridge. The kid come out. Those cars are going to want to be on that lane. Sunrise. Get my words mixed out. Sorry. Sunrise. Beautiful. Van past who's been itching to get by. Local traffic for local people. Sheraton. Hartlepool. Haven't been there for a while. Land, Middlesbrough, Teesside. Discussing Brexit and how it's going for you, and somebody's just sent a tweet to me saying, let me see now. Oh, it's from David Chadley. Says, my time machine is working. I just turned on your call and found myself in 2016. And here enough. How is it going? That's the question. Here's Simon with the weather. How is it going? That's the question. Yeah, it's going pretty well for many of us today. It's going to be a dry day actually across most parts of the UK. We've got some sunshine out there this morning as well across eastern and through southern areas of England. Still one or two mist and fog patches though around the Midlands and the southwest of England. Elsewhere though, it's pretty cloudy at the moment. For Scotland, for Northern Ireland, it's going to remain fairly cloudy into the afternoon. Some drizzly, showery rain affecting northern and western areas of Scotland. Eastern Scotland and Northern Ireland though, there will be some breaks in the cloud developing and temperatures getting to about 13 to 16 degrees. Across England and Wales, where we're going to see again that cloud just persisting across many areas. The cloud that will break up in part to bring some brighter spells, and temperatures this afternoon about 15 to 17 Celsius. One or two showers in the southwest of England developing later on. Now as we go into Thursday, for many of us it's more of the same really. Again, quite a cloudy start to the day on Thursday, but a change coming in from the north. A cold front moving southward, that's going to bring rain across Scotland and eventually Northern Ireland by the evening.
haven't. We've got Matt in West Yorkshire. We had an Andy earlier on. He was a feisty chap. Matt, how you doing? Business owner.
Yeah, morning to you.
Morning to you. Oh, we've got Lance Foreman, business owner, former Conservative MEP, owner of London-based smoked salmon business H. Foreman and Son, former Brexit Party MEP who defected to the Conservatives. You all right, Lance?
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning. It will be interesting to hear a civilised discourse between the two of you on this.
Always civilised.
Always. Well,
absolutely.
Not actually. I'm a veteran of these particular debates, but it's in a modern context. It's in today's context. How is it going now in the midst of everything else? Matt, what are your problems?
We've got lots of issues, I guess, Nicky. I think my question that I sent in as a text was I'd just like somebody from the Brexit side of things to explain to me what are the actual benefits. I could go through all the many things and issues that we have at the moment, but 5 years since 2016, what are the benefits that we're now receiving from Brexit? And if we were to benchmark that against the promises that were made, how many of those promises have been delivered? And, what is the real impact been from our perspective? Ideologically, I've always been against Brexit, and I've never seen the benefits in it. But I'm open to persuasion. I'd like somebody to tell me 5 years into this program, where is the benefit? What should I be looking at and going, oh well, actually you were wrong, Matt. This is what's happened now.
Lance?
The first thing I would say is that we're not 5 years into it. We had a referendum 5 years ago. We actually only Brexited at the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, and within 2 months of us having Brexit, COVID happened, the world locked down, and we're in a very, very... In fact, the effects of COVID far outweigh any of the positive or negative effects of Brexit. Brexit's tiny in relation to the effects that COVID have had, not just on the British economy, but the global economy. We're talking about people saying there are going to be queues at Dover. There are queues at ports all over the world at the moment. If you want to get a shipping container from China to anywhere in the world, it used to cost $2,000. It now costs $20,000. COVID has completely overshadowed everything.
No, sorry, Lance. My question is, what are the benefits? What are the benefits? I know what the issues are, and I know they're multifactorial. But when I look at things now, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, 2 months, what have we gained?
Okay. Well, there was an initial benefit last year, which was very clear, and I think most people realise, and that was that we had the independence over the vaccines.
Well, we've been through that again and again and again and again.
Well, no, because
it stopped working. It was still part of Europe.
We could have gone rogue on that and we would still be in the European Union had we been in the European Union. We've got other countries have gone rogue on things before. The European Union at the time chose to be together solidly as one bloc.
Yeah, in terms of extra deaths, I think we didn't cope very well. So as much as we can cheer on the vaccine program.
Okay, let's take it away from that, because we've been over that again and again and again. That whole issue.
Very good point.
No, because it's a highly contentious point. Give us something clear. Give us something clear.
Give us something positive.
Look, I have always seen Brexit as turning a tanker around. You can't just turn a tanker. We've been in the EU for 40 years. At the very beginning, when we joined the EC, I thought it was a great idea. Many people thought it was a great idea. It was after 40 years, when the thing started heading in a direction that people didn't want to go, they realised that maybe this isn't where we want to be. Brexit is not an overnight thing where suddenly, life's going to change overnight. This, it's going to take many years before we start, legislating ourselves, changing the regulations. Many years, and actually, my personal view, and the main reason that I was supportive of Brexit was because I think that Brexit is going to be very, very damaging to the EU economy, and the fallout of that will be chaos across Europe, because they have a dysfunctional currency where Germany is controlling ever more so,
Let's
controlling
talk
the whole
about
of
us.
Europe, and you've got massive.
Let's talk
No,
about
this
us.
is important.
No,
because
it is important.
It
But
is
I'm
very
quite,
important.
yeah, of course. But I want to talk about us and the here and now, and people who are running businesses in this country, not the old arguments. And this is really. You really got to it there. Okay, I'll ask you about that in a second. I'll ask you. I just want to get to the point. What it will look like, Lance. And I appreciate your passion, and I appreciate you have this portfolio of arguments and this passion. I appreciate that's why I'm speaking to you now. But you said it'll take many years before we take the tank around. I guess what a lot of people are wanting to know, and those include, the 50% and odd people or whatever who are Brexiteers, who are passionate Brexiteers. They want to know what it will look like when we have got there. What will success be? The project.
Success will be that we will be independent, able to make our own decisions about our own laws. 87% of businesses in the UK never dealt with the EU at all, and yet they were forced to abide by all the EU regulations. So we'll basically be free to make our own laws that suit our nation. We'll be able to trade. We can still trade with the EU now. We are still trading, and hopefully in time those trade deals will improve. We'll be making trade deals with other countries. There's talk at the moment about us joining the CPTPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Once we join that trade bloc will actually be bigger than the EU. So, I think, it's not about what's going to happen on day one.
We'd be
rich. It's a long-term decision.
I really don't think we're on day one.
We're sort of on day. We're not really even on day one because the world has been taken over by COVID and the lockdowns over the last.
This was promised to people in 2016 because I seem to remember somebody driving around a bus with 300 million to the NHS.
Well, actually, our government has given more than 350 million a week to the NHS.
I don't think that's related to Europe. I think that's related to COVID.
The guy speaks a lot of sense. People don't want to listen. Well, I'm going to go around the corner and that's my destination reached. So this is lovely Billingham. So I'm going to press the button in a second to say thank you very much for watching and have a good day.